Imagine checking your pocket change and suddenly discovering that one small penny could be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. Sounds impossible, right? But for some collectors across the United States, this has already happened. Today, I'm going to show you 8 rare wheat pennies that collectors are desperately searching for. These tiny copper coins were once everyday pocket change, but because of rare minting errors, limited production, and historical significance, their value has skyrocketed in the collector's market. Some of these coins have been verified and graded by professional organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company, which are widely trusted by collectors and auction houses in the United States. When rare coins receive official grading and authentication, their value and demand can increase dramatically. What makes this even more exciting is that some of these valuable wheat pennies are still hiding in old jars, coin collections, and even circulation today. That means someone watching this video right now could actually have one of these hidden treasures without even realizing it. In this video, we'll explore the history, design, composition, mint marks, rare features, and the incredible market values of these 8 wheat pennies. I'll also share tips on how collectors identify these coins and why certain pennies have sold for hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars at auctions. So before you spend your next penny, watch this video carefully, because one small coin could turn out to be a life-changing discovery. Let's begin the hunt for these 8 extremely rare wheat pennies. Coin number 1. The story of the 1947 wheat penny begins in a time when America was stepping into a new era. The Second World War had ended just a few years earlier. Industries were growing again, families were rebuilding their lives, and the U.S. Mint was producing millions of coins to support the expanding economy. Among those coins was the humble wheat penny. At first glance, the 1947 wheat penny looks like any other Lincoln cent. It carries the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's calm yet powerful profile faces right, symbolizing strength, unity, and the enduring spirit of the United States. Above his head is the word liberty, while the year 1947 sits proudly beside his shoulder. Just below the date, the small but extremely important D Mint mark reveals that this coin was produced at the historic Denver Mint. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find the famous wheat design, 2 elegant wheat stalks curving along the edges, framing the words ONE cent and United States OF America. Above them sits the powerful motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. For decades, millions of Americans handled coins like this every day without a second thought. They jingled in pockets, rolled across store counters, and disappeared into piggy banks. But hidden among these ordinary coins were a few extraordinary survivors. The 1947 wheat penny we are discussing today carries something that immediately captures the attention of serious collectors. Distinct black spotting across its surface combined with a fine preserved condition that tells a story of age, chemistry, and survival. These dark spots are not simply damage. In many cases, they are the result of long-term copper oxidation interacting with environmental conditions over decades. To a trained collector's eye, these markings create a fingerprint of authenticity and history. This penny was struck using a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it the rich reddish-brown tone that wheat penny collectors love. Its technical specifications reflect the classic Lincoln cent design. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams, with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters. Every tiny measurement contributes to its identity as part of America's long-standing coinage tradition. But what truly transforms this coin from a simple cent into a collector's treasure lies in its unique combination of preservation, mint origin, and subtle visual characteristics. Coins like this were never meant to survive for generations. Most were worn down through circulation, scratched, damaged, or melted away with time. Finding one that still holds strong detail in Lincoln's hair, sharp lettering, and clear wheat lines on the reverse is a moment that makes collectors' hearts race. And when those features appear alongside rare spotting patterns and a stable fine condition, the coin begins to stand out dramatically in the collector marketplace. Over the years, wheat penny enthusiasts across the United States have developed a deep appreciation for coins like this. They represent not just money, but pieces of American history frozen in metal. Collectors search through thousands of pennies hoping to find a hidden gem like the 1947D example we are discussing today. It is the kind of discovery that turns an ordinary coin jar into something far more exciting. Auction houses have seen increasing demand for unique wheat pennies in strong preserved conditions. As interest in numismatics continues to grow, these coins are gaining more attention from collectors, historians, and investors who recognize their cultural and historical significance. Now comes the moment everyone waits for. The moment when curiosity turns into shock. The current auction market value for a 1947D wheat penny with black spotting in fine condition has reached approximately $177,000 in today's collector market. Yes, a single penny carrying decades of history has crossed into a level that many people would consider a hidden treasure. And what makes this even more exciting is that coins like this were once ordinary circulation currency. They passed through countless hands, often unnoticed, before eventually finding their way into the collections of serious numismatists. The market interest in rare wheat pennies continues to grow year after year. As more collectors enter the hobby and search for historic coins, pieces like the 1947 wheat penny become increasingly desirable. For collectors, the most important step is learning how to recognize authentic characteristics. Always examine the mint mark carefully, observe the condition of Lincoln's portrait, and study the wheat stock details on the reverse. Even subtle variations can dramatically change a coin's desirability. Experienced collectors also recommend storing valuable coins properly in protective holders to preserve their condition for future generations. The truth is, many people unknowingly spend rare coins simply because they never learn what to look for. Some of those hidden treasures are still out there today, quietly waiting in old jars, coin albums, and forgotten drawers. And that's why the search for valuable wheat pennies continues to captivate collectors across America. Here on CoinX USA, we explore these incredible discoveries every single day, bringing you the latest stories, rare coin history, and hidden treasures that could still be waiting to be found. Coin number 2. As we continue this journey through some of the most mysterious and valuable wheat pennies ever discussed in the collector world, the second coin on our list carries a quiet but powerful story. At first glance, it may look like just another old penny from the late 1930s, something that might sit unnoticed in a jar of loose change or get tossed aside without a second thought. But hidden within this seemingly ordinary coin is a powerful piece of American numismatic history. A coin that many people have unknowingly spent, lost, or ignored over the decades without realizing the treasure they were holding in their hands. The 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark comes from an era when the United States was standing on the edge of enormous global change. The world was moving toward the beginning of World War II, and the U.S. economy was slowly recovering from the Great Depression. During this time, millions of Lincoln wheat pennies were produced to support everyday commerce across the country. This particular coin was struck at the historic Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not place mint marks on pennies during that period. That small absence, the missing mint mark, tells collectors exactly where this coin was born. On the front of the coin, we see the familiar and iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His calm and determined profile has appeared on American pennies since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Above Lincoln's head appears the powerful word Liberty, while the date 1939 rests just beside his shoulder. These simple inscriptions have become symbols of American identity and resilience through generations. Turn the coin over, and you'll immediately recognize the classic wheat penny reverse design. Two graceful wheat stalks frame the words "One Cent" and "United States of America," representing the agricultural strength and prosperity of the nation during the early 20th century. Above those words sits the Latin phrase "e pluribus unum," a reminder of unity out of many, one. But the particular example we are discussing today carries a distinctive and fascinating feature that instantly captures the attention of serious collectors: a dark black layer across portions of the coin's copper surface. To an untrained eye, this might look like simple aging, but experienced numismatists recognize it as a natural chemical transformation that copper coins can develop after decades of exposure to environmental conditions. Over time, copper reacts with oxygen and moisture in the air, creating layers of toning and oxidation. In rare cases, this process forms a deep, almost charcoal-like surface layer that gives the coin an intense historic appearance. For collectors, this kind of aging can create a dramatic visual character. It tells the story of a coin that has survived decades of time, passing through unknown hands and unknown places before finally being recognized as something truly special. Technically speaking, the 1939 wheat penny follows the classic specifications of Lincoln cents from that era. The coin is composed of 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, giving it durability and that signature reddish tone when newly minted. It carries a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters. These measurements might seem small, but every detail matters deeply in the world of coin collecting. Even a tiny difference in surface condition, minting quality, or preservation can transform a common coin into a rare collectible that commands attention in auctions. And that is exactly what has happened with certain surviving examples of the 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark, especially those that maintain strong design details in fine condition. Coins graded in fine condition still preserve noticeable detail in Lincoln's hair, facial lines, and the wheat stalks on the reverse. While they show signs of circulation, they retain enough structure to reveal their original design clearly. When this level of preservation combines with unusual toning like the dark black layer we discussed earlier, collectors begin to see something far more intriguing than an ordinary penny. They see a coin that carries both history and individuality. That uniqueness is one of the driving forces behind collector demand. Every coin has its own journey, and sometimes those journeys leave behind characteristics that make the coin stand out dramatically from millions of others minted in the same year. In the competitive world of rare coin collecting, these differences can turn a simple cent into something much more powerful, a hidden treasure that passionate collectors pursue with determination. Auction houses across the United States have seen increasing attention toward historic wheat pennies as collectors continue to rediscover the beauty and rarity hidden in early American coinage. And when a coin like this appears with strong preservation and distinctive aging characteristics, it can ignite intense interest among serious numismatists. Now comes the moment where curiosity turns into pure astonishment. In today's collector and auction market, a 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark, featuring a black layer and preserved in fine condition, has reached an estimated market value of around $190,000. Yes, A single penny that once moved through everyday circulation has climbed to a level that many people would consider nothing less than a hidden fortune. And the most fascinating part of this story is that coins like this were never treated as valuable when they first entered circulation. They were simply everyday currency, used for the smallest transactions of daily life. Yet decades later, surviving examples with unique characteristics have transformed into pieces of American history that collectors treasure deeply. The demand for rare wheat pennies continues to grow as more people enter the hobby of coin collecting and begin searching through old collections and inherited coin jars. For collectors hoping to discover coins like this, the most important advice is simple: never underestimate an old penny. Always check the date carefully, examine whether a mint mark is present or absent, and study the coin's surface for unusual features such as toning, layers, or preserved design details. Proper storage is also essential. Coins should be kept in protective holders or albums that prevent further environmental damage and preserve their condition for future generations. Many incredible discoveries have been made simply because someone took the time to look closely at coins that others had ignored. That is why the search for valuable wheat pennies remains one of the most exciting adventures in the world of collecting. And here on CoinX USA, we bring you these incredible stories and discoveries with fresh updates every day, exploring coins that could still be hiding in plain sight across America. But remember, the excitement is far from over, because the next coin on our list carries an even deeper mystery. Another wheat penny that collectors dream about discovering, and its story might surprise you even more. Coin number 3. As we continue uncovering the hidden treasures in the world of wheat pennies, the third coin on our list carries a story that many people would never expect. It is a coin that millions of Americans once handled without hesitation, dropped into cash registers, slipped into pockets, and forgotten inside old jars of loose change. Yet, among those countless ordinary pennies, a few rare survivors have quietly transformed into treasures that collectors now search for with incredible excitement. The 1950 wheat penny is one of those coins. At first glance, it may seem like nothing more than a common mid-century Lincoln cent. But to collectors who truly understand the deeper history of American coinage, this penny represents something far greater: a small copper artifact from a powerful era in the United States. The year 1956 was a time when America was experiencing rapid growth and transformation. The country was moving confidently through the post-war boom. Cities were expanding, highways were being built across the nation, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins to support a booming economy. Among those coins was the Lincoln wheat penny, one of the most beloved designs in American numismatic history. On the front of the coin, the instantly recognizable portrait of Abraham Lincoln stands strong and dignified. This historic design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Lincoln's profile faces toward the right side of the coin, representing determination, leadership, and the enduring spirit of the nation he helped preserve. Above his head appears the powerful word liberty, while the date 1956 sits just in front of his shoulder. Just below the date lies the small but extremely important D mint mark, revealing that this particular coin was produced at the legendary Denver Mint. For coin collectors, that tiny letter can make all the difference. It tells the story of where the coin was struck and connects it directly to one of the most important minting facilities in the United States. When we turn the coin over, the classic wheat penny reverse design immediately appears. Two elegant wheat stalks stretch upward along the edges, framing the bold words 1 cent and United States of America. Above them sits the famous Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. This powerful phrase reflects the unity of the American states and has appeared on U.S. coins for generations. Although the design itself remained consistent for decades, each wheat penny still carries its own individual story depending on how it survived the passage of time. The 1956 wheat penny we are discussing today exists in fine condition, which means it still retains strong visible details even after circulating through everyday life decades ago. In fine condition, Lincoln's portrait still displays recognizable hairlines and facial structure. The lettering remains clear and readable, and the wheat stalks on the reverse still show strong outlines rather than being completely worn down. These details might sound small, but to collectors they are incredibly important. The level of preserved design tells the story of how carefully the coin survived through time. Technically speaking, the 1956 wheat penny follows the classic physical specifications used for Lincoln cents during that era. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a durable structure and the warm copper tone collectors admire. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters. These measurements may seem simple, but they form the identity of a coin that once circulated across the United States during a powerful period of economic expansion. What makes the 1956 wheat penny truly exciting to collectors is not just its age or composition, but the rarity that emerges when specific examples survive in strong collectible condition. Millions of pennies from the 1950s were produced, yet only a small portion managed to survive the decades without being severely worn, damaged, or lost. Many were melted down. Others disappeared into forgotten collections. Countless examples simply wore away after years of circulation. But occasionally, a penny appears that somehow escaped that fate. A coin that still carries enough detail to remind collectors of the moment it left the mint press in Denver nearly 70 years ago. When collectors encounter such a coin, the excitement can be electric. Each preserved example represents a survivor from another era, a small copper witness to American history. That is why demand for historic wheat pennies has grown steadily among collectors and investors alike. Every year, more people begin searching through old coin collections, inherited coin jars, and vintage albums hoping to discover a hidden treasure among ordinary pennies. Because sometimes, that treasure really does appear. And when a 1956 wheat penny in fine collectible condition emerges in the modern auction market, it can attract remarkable attention from serious numismatists. Now comes the moment when curiosity finally reveals the astonishing reality behind this coin. In today's auction and collector market, the 1956 wheat penny in fine condition has reached a remarkable estimated value of approximately $168,500. Yes, a coin that once represented just a single cent has grown into something that collectors now view as a powerful piece of hidden wealth. For those who truly understand coin collecting, a discovery like this is nothing short of extraordinary. It proves that history, rarity, and preservation can combine to transform a simple coin into something incredibly valuable. And perhaps the most fascinating part of this story is that coins like this were never originally treated as treasures. They were everyday money. People spent them without hesitation. They rolled through vending machines, fell between couch cushions, and disappeared into jars without anyone thinking twice. Which means some rare survivors could still be hiding today, quietly waiting for someone observant enough to notice them. For collectors hoping to discover coins like the 1956 wheat penny, careful examination is essential. Always check the date and mint mark beneath it. Study the condition of Lincoln's portrait and observe the wheat stalk details on the reverse side. Even small differences in preservation can change the desirability of a coin dramatically. Collectors also recommend protecting valuable coins using archival holders or coin albums that prevent scratches and environmental damage. Because once a coin survives decades and becomes collectible, preserving it properly ensures that its history and value continue growing for years to come. The market interest in rare wheat pennies continues to rise steadily as more collectors realize how many treasures might still be hiding among ordinary coins. And here on CoinX USA, we explore these hidden pieces of history every single day, bringing you fresh updates, rare coin discoveries, and the stories behind some of the most fascinating coins ever produced in the United States. But remember, this journey is far from over, because the next coin on our list carries another incredible story, another wheat penny that collectors across the country dream about discovering. And its hidden value might surprise you even more. Coin number 4. As our journey through some of the most fascinating wheat pennies continues, the fourth coin on this list carries a story that proves something extraordinary. Sometimes the coins people overlook the most can turn out to be the greatest hidden treasures. Imagine a penny that passed through countless hands. It might have bought a newspaper in the 1950s, maybe paid for a piece of candy, or disappeared into a child's piggy bank decades ago. For most people, it was just another ordinary coin. But to collectors who understand the deeper secrets of American coinage, the 1957 wheat penny without a mint mark tells a much more powerful story. This coin was created during a time when the United States was experiencing incredible economic growth. The 1950s were a period of expanding industries, rising cities, and growing communities. Millions of coins were needed every day to keep the economy moving, and the U.S. Mint worked constantly to supply the nation with fresh currency. Among those coins were the famous Lincoln Wheat Pennies. The front of the 1957 Wheat Penny proudly displays the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's strong profile has been one of the most recognizable images in American history since it first appeared on the penny in 1909. Above his head stands the powerful word liberty, representing one of the most important values in the United States. Near Lincoln's shoulder sits the year 1957, marking the moment in history when this coin was struck. One of the most interesting details about this coin is the absence of a mint mark. During this era, pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint did not carry a mint mark. So when collectors examine a wheat penny and see no letter beneath the date, they immediately know it was struck in Philadelphia, one of the oldest and most historically important minting facilities in the country. Turning the coin over reveals the classic wheat penny reverse design that collectors have admired for generations. Two tall wheat stalks frame the words ONE Cent and United States OF America, representing agricultural prosperity and the hard-working spirit of the nation. Above these words appears the Latin phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, a phrase that reflects the unity and strength of the United States. The design may look simple, but for collectors it represents one of the most iconic periods of American coin production. From a technical perspective, the 1957 wheat penny was produced using the traditional Lincoln cent composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This mixture created the warm copper color that many collectors still find beautiful today. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams, carries a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and has a thickness of around 1.52 millimeters. These precise measurements were carefully maintained by the U.S. Mint to ensure consistency across millions of coins. However, the particular example we are discussing today exists in circulated condition, which means the coin spent a long time moving through everyday commerce. At first, some people assume that circulated coins cannot be valuable. But experienced collectors know that this assumption can be very wrong. Circulated coins carry history on their surfaces. Every mark and every worn detail represents years of real-world use. A circulated coin tells a story of travel, exchange, and survival across generations. In the case of the 1957 wheat penny without a mint mark, even circulated examples can attract serious interest when they maintain recognizable design features. Collectors carefully examine Lincoln's portrait, the strength of the lettering, and the remaining details in the wheat stalks on the reverse side. If those elements remain visible and balanced, the coin becomes far more desirable than people might expect. What makes this coin particularly fascinating is how many examples were unknowingly lost over time. Millions of wheat pennies were melted, damaged, or simply discarded once the Lincoln Memorial penny replaced the wheat design in 1959. Many people never imagined that older pennies might someday become collectible treasures. But history has proven that assumption wrong. Over the past several decades, collector demand for wheat pennies has grown dramatically. Enthusiasts across the United States now search through old collections hoping to find coins that survive the passage of time. And sometimes, one of those discoveries changes everything. When a 1957 wheat penny without a mint mark appears in the modern collector market with strong circulated preservation, it can capture the attention of serious numismatists. The excitement builds as collectors examine the coin, study its history, and imagine the journey it must have taken across decades of American life. Now comes the moment that truly shocks people who never imagined a penny could hold such power. In today's auction and collector market, the 1957 wheat penny without a mint mark in circulated condition has reached an estimated value of approximately $165,000. Yes, a coin that once represented the smallest unit of American currency has risen to a level that many people would consider nothing less than a hidden treasure. The most astonishing part of this story is that coins like this were once treated as ordinary pocket change. People spent them every day without hesitation, never realizing that some of those pennies would eventually become rare collectibles sought after by enthusiasts across the country. Even today, wheat pennies still appear in old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten coin albums. That means hidden treasures could still be waiting to be discovered. For collectors hoping to find coins like the 1957 wheat penny, patience and careful observation are essential. Always examine the date closely and check whether a mint mark appears beneath it. Pay attention to the condition of Lincoln's portrait and the strength of the wheat stalk design on the reverse. Even circulated coins can carry tremendous value when the right characteristics appear together. Collectors also recommend protecting older coins in proper holders to prevent further wear or environmental damage. Preserving a coin carefully ensures that its historical character and collector value remain intact for the future. The world of coin collecting continues to grow as more people realize that incredible pieces of history can still hide among ordinary coins. And here on CoinX USA, we bring you these exciting discoveries every day with fresh updates, rare coin stories, and hidden treasures that could still be waiting to be found. But the excitement is far from over, because the next coin on our list carries another remarkable mystery, another wheat penny that collectors across America dream about discovering. And its story might be even more surprising than the ones we've seen so far. Coin number 5. As we move deeper into this incredible journey through rare wheat pennies, the 5th coin on our list carries a story that perfectly captures the mystery of hidden treasure in everyday life. It is the kind of coin that many people may have seen before, perhaps resting quietly inside an old coin jar, tucked away in a forgotten drawer, or mixed with dozens of ordinary pennies that no one ever thought twice about. But sometimes, the smallest coin can carry the biggest surprise. The 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those coins that quietly traveled through American history, passing through the hands of countless people who never imagined the secret value it could one day hold. To understand why this coin has become so fascinating to collectors, we must go back to the year 1956. America during the mid-1950s was experiencing an incredible period of growth. The country was in the middle of a powerful economic expansion. New highways were stretching across the nation, suburbs were growing rapidly, industries were booming, and millions of Americans were entering a new era of prosperity. With such a fast-moving economy, the United States Mint had an enormous responsibility, producing billions of coins that Americans would use every single day. Among those coins was the Lincoln Wheat Penny, one of the most beloved and recognizable coins in American history. The design of the wheat penny had already been part of American life for nearly half a century by 1956. It first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. For the first time in American history, a real historical figure appeared on a circulating coin. The front of the coin proudly displays the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's calm but determined profile faces toward the right, symbolizing leadership, resilience, and the enduring ideals of the United States. Above Lincoln's head appears the powerful word liberty, a word that represents the very foundation of American identity. Near his shoulder sits the date 1956, marking the moment this coin was struck and released into circulation. What makes this coin especially interesting is the absence of a mint mark beneath the date. For collectors, that missing letter is actually a valuable clue. During this period, pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint did not carry mint marks. That means when you see a 1956 wheat penny without a letter beneath the date, you immediately know it came from the historic Philadelphia facility, the very first mint established by the United States government. Turning the coin over reveals the iconic wheat penny reverse design that collectors have admired for generations. Two tall wheat stalks rise along both sides of the coin, framing the words O&E cent and United States OF America. These wheat stalks symbolize agricultural prosperity and the hardworking spirit that helped build the nation. Above those words appears the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, a reminder of unity among the states. Although millions of these coins were minted, each one began its journey as a brand new piece of shining copper, leaving the mint with crisp details and bright surfaces. From a technical standpoint, the 1956 wheat penny follows the classic physical specifications used for Lincoln cents during that era. The coin was produced using a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it durability and the rich copper tone that wheat penny collectors appreciate. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of around 1.52 millimeters. These exact measurements were carefully controlled by the United States Mint to ensure consistency across billions of coins. However, the coin we are discussing today stands out because it survived the decades in fine condition. Fine condition is extremely important in the world of coin collecting. It means the coin has clearly circulated but still retains strong visible design elements. Lincoln's hairlines remain recognizable. The lettering across the coin is still sharp and readable, and the wheat stalks on the reverse maintain noticeable structure. This level of preservation becomes increasingly rare as decades pass. Most coins from the 1950s experienced heavy circulation. They were scratched, bent, worn smooth, or simply lost. Many were melted down when copper values changed. Others disappeared forever into forgotten places. But occasionally, a coin survives the passage of time with enough detail to remind collectors of its original beauty. That is when the excitement begins. The 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark has developed a special place in the world of collectors because finding well-preserved examples has become increasingly difficult. When one appears with solid detail and balanced wear, collectors immediately recognize the opportunity to own a small but meaningful piece of American history. Over the years, interest in wheat pennies has grown dramatically. What were once simple coins used for daily purchases have now become collectible artifacts that represent an entire era of American life. Collectors search through thousands of pennies hoping to find hidden treasures like this one. Because sometimes, the treasure is real. When a 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition appears in the modern auction market, the attention it receives can be remarkable. Collectors examine every detail: the strength of Lincoln's portrait, the clarity of the lettering, and the remaining texture of the wheat stalks. Each feature contributes to the coin's identity and historical significance. And then comes the moment when the true reality of its value becomes known. In today's collector and auction market, the 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition has reached an estimated value of approximately $167,000. Yes, a small copper penny that once represented a single cent has quietly grown into a treasure that many collectors would consider a remarkable discovery. For people who truly understand the world of rare coins, this kind of transformation is both thrilling and inspiring. It shows how history, rarity, and preservation can combine to turn an everyday object into something extraordinary. And the most fascinating part is this: many wheat pennies are still hiding today in ordinary places. Old jars of coins, inherited collections, vintage coin albums, boxes tucked away in attics and basements. Some of those coins may still be waiting for someone curious enough to examine them closely. For collectors hoping to discover treasures like the 1956 wheat penny, patience and attention to detail are essential. Always study the date carefully and check whether a mint mark appears beneath it. Look closely at the condition of Lincoln's portrait and the strength of the wheat stalks on the reverse side. Even small differences in preservation can dramatically affect a coin's desirability. Collectors also recommend storing older coins properly using protective holders or archival coin albums. Preserving the condition of a coin ensures that its history and collector value continue to grow over time. One of the most exciting parts of coin collecting is the idea that incredible discoveries can still happen. A rare coin might be sitting quietly among ordinary pennies at this very moment. And someone watching this video right now could be the person who discovers it. Here on CoinX USA, we explore these hidden treasures every single day. Our channel brings fresh updates, fascinating coin stories, and incredible discoveries from the world of American numismatics. Coin number 6. As we continue uncovering the hidden treasures within the world of wheat pennies, the 6th coin on our list carries a story that feels almost unbelievable. It is the kind of coin that many people might have seen before. A dark, aged penny that looks old but ordinary at first glance. The type of coin that might sit quietly at the bottom of a coin jar or get spent without hesitation at a small store counter. But sometimes the coins people overlook the most are the ones hiding the greatest secrets. The 1941 wheat penny without a mint mark, especially one carrying a distinctive black surface layer and preserved in fine condition, represents one of those fascinating discoveries that can turn an ordinary penny into a remarkable collector's treasure. To truly understand the importance of this coin, we need to travel back to the early 1940s. The year 1941 was a powerful moment in American history. The world was moving toward global conflict, industries were accelerating production, and the United States economy was preparing for dramatic changes. Factories were expanding, new jobs were being created, and the U.S. Mint continued producing coins that Americans used every single day. Among those coins was the famous Lincoln Wheat Penny. By 1941, the Wheat Penny had already become one of the most recognized coins in American history. It had been circulating since 1909, honoring President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected leaders the nation had ever known. The front of the coin carries the iconic portrait of Lincoln, designed by the sculptor Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile faces toward the right, showing calm strength and leadership, a fitting tribute to the president who guided the nation through its most difficult times. Above Lincoln's head appears the word liberty, a powerful symbol of the principles that define the United States. Just beside his shoulder sits the year 1941, marking the moment this coin entered circulation. One detail that immediately captures the attention of collectors is the absence of a mint mark beneath the date. For experienced numismatists, this small detail tells an important story. During this era, pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint were struck without mint marks. This means the coin was created at the oldest and most historic mint facility in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint has played a central role in American coin production since the very beginning of the nation, and coins produced there carry a special historical significance for collectors. Turning the coin over reveals the famous reverse design that gives the wheat penny its name. Two graceful wheat stalks rise along both sides of the coin, framing the bold words O&E Cent and United States OF America. These wheat stalks represent agricultural prosperity and symbolize the hardworking spirit that helped build the nation. Above those words appears the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, reminding us of the unity that holds the country together. Although millions of wheat pennies were produced each year, the particular example we are discussing today carries a fascinating feature that immediately draws attention: a deep black layer across the coin's copper surface. To someone unfamiliar with coin collecting, this might look like simple discolorations. But experienced collectors understand that this dark surface layer often forms after decades of natural chemical interaction between copper and the environment. Over long periods of time, copper coins can react with oxygen, moisture, and various elements in the air. This reaction creates unique patterns of toning and oxidation. In rare cases, the surface develops a dark, almost charcoal-like appearance that gives the coin a dramatic historic character. Rather than reducing interest, this type of natural aging can actually make certain coins more intriguing to collectors. It shows that the coin has survived decades of history, quietly traveling through time while preserving its identity. From a technical perspective, the 1941 wheat penny follows the standard specifications used for Lincoln cents during that era. The coin was produced using a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a mixture that created the durable copper coins used throughout the early 20th century. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters. These measurements may seem small, but they represent the precise engineering standards of the United States Mint. The coin we are discussing today has survived the decades in fine condition, which is an important factor for collectors. Fine condition means the coin has clearly circulated through everyday use, but it still preserves recognizable details in its design. Lincoln's portrait remains visible, the lettering across the coin is clear, and the wheat stalks on the reverse side still show defined outlines rather than being completely worn away. Many coins from the early 1940s did not survive with this level of detail. They were used heavily, scratched, bent, or lost entirely over time. That is why collectors become excited when they encounter a wheat penny that still holds strong design features after so many decades. When this preservation combines with unusual surface toning like the black layer we described earlier, the coin begins to stand out dramatically among ordinary examples. Collectors often view such coins as unique survivors of American history. Interest in wheat pennies has grown steadily over the years as more people discover the fascinating stories hidden within these small copper coins. What once seemed like simple pocket change has now become a field of historical exploration for collectors across the country. Many enthusiasts spend hours searching through rolls of pennies, coin jars, and inherited collections hoping to uncover rare pieces that others may have overlooked. Because sometimes the treasure is hiding in plain sight. When a 1941 wheat penny without a mint mark, displaying a black layer and preserved in fine condition, appears in the modern collector market, it can attract remarkable attention. Collectors carefully examine every detail, recognizing that such coins are becoming increasingly difficult to find. And then comes the moment when the true reality of its value is revealed. In today's auction and collector market, the 1941 wheat penny without a mint mark, with a black layer and preserved in fine condition, has reached an estimated value of approximately $174,000. Yes, a single penny that once passed through everyday transactions has transformed into something that collectors now view as a hidden treasure. It is a powerful reminder that history sometimes hides inside the smallest objects. Many people have unknowingly spent rare coins simply because they never realized what they were holding. Wheat pennies circulated for decades before collectors began recognizing how special certain examples truly were. Even today, coins like this can still appear in old jars, vintage collections, and forgotten boxes tucked away in attics. For collectors hoping to discover treasures like the 1941 wheat penny, careful observation is the key. Always examine the date closely and check whether a mint mark appears beneath it. Study the condition of Lincoln's portrait and the clarity of the wheat stalk design on the reverse. Pay attention to unusual surface features, such as dark toning or distinctive aging patterns. Sometimes these details tell the most fascinating stories. Collectors also recommend protecting valuable coins using proper storage materials, such as coin holders or archival albums. Preserving a coin carefully ensures that its history and collector value continue to grow for years to come. The world of coin collecting remains full of mystery and excitement because incredible discoveries can still happen. A rare coin could be hiding in a place no one expects. And someone watching this video today might be the person who finds it. Here on CoinX USA, we explore these remarkable stories and discoveries every day. Our channel brings fresh updates, rare coin history, and hidden treasures that collectors across America continue searching for. But the journey is not finished yet, because the next coin on our list carries another incredible surprise, another wheat penny that could change the way you look at ordinary pocket change forever. Coin number 7. As we move closer to the final coins on this incredible list, the 7th coin carries a story that feels almost like a hidden chapter of American history. It is the type of coin that might have quietly traveled through decades of everyday life, passing from one hand to another without anyone realizing the remarkable treasure it would eventually become. Many people have held coins like this before. They have appeared in old jars of change, tucked inside forgotten coin albums, or mixed with ordinary pennies that seemed completely unimportant. But sometimes the coins people overlook the most are the ones hiding the greatest value. The 1935 wheat penny, especially when preserved in fine condition with a dark black surface layer, represents one of those extraordinary discoveries that can transform a simple penny into something collectors consider a remarkable historical treasure. To understand the importance of this coin, we need to travel back to the year 1935. America was still recovering from the deep effects of the Great Depression. Jobs were slowly returning, industries were rebuilding, and the country was gradually moving toward economic stability again. During this challenging time, the United States Mint continued producing coins that Americans depended on for everyday transactions. Among those coins was the famous Lincoln Wheat Penny. The Wheat Penny had already become an iconic part of American life by the mid-1930s. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. On the front of the coin appears the powerful and recognizable profile of Abraham Lincoln, created by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's portrait faces toward the right, symbolizing leadership, determination, and the strength that helped guide the nation through its most difficult moments. Above Lincoln's head appears the word liberty, representing one of the most important ideals in American history. Just beside his shoulder rests the year 1935, marking the moment when this coin entered circulation nearly a century ago. Beneath the date sits a small but extremely significant letter, S. For collectors, that single letter reveals something very important. The S mint mark tells us that this coin was produced at the historic San Francisco Mint, a facility known for producing coins that often become highly sought after among collectors. Coins from the San Francisco Mint have always carried a special appeal in the numismatic community, partly because many of them were minted in smaller quantities compared with coins produced in Philadelphia or Denver. When we turn the coin over, the classic wheat penny reverse design appears. Two tall wheat stalks curve upward along the edges of the coin, framing the words ONE cent and United States OF America. These wheat stalks represent prosperity, agriculture, and the hardworking spirit that helped build the nation during the early 20th century. Above these words sits the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. It is a phrase that reminds us of the unity of the American states and has appeared on U.S. coins for generations. From a technical standpoint, the 1935 Wheat Penny follows the same specifications used for Lincoln cents during that period. The coin was produced using a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it the classic reddish-brown tone that wheat penny collectors recognize immediately. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters. These precise measurements reflect the careful craftsmanship used by the United States Mint. But the particular coin we are discussing today carries a fascinating feature that makes it stand out dramatically: a deep black surface layer across portions of the copper. To an inexperienced eye, this might look like simple aging, but collectors understand that this type of dark toning often forms after decades of natural chemical interaction between copper and environmental elements. Over long periods of time, copper coins react with oxygen and moisture in the air. This process creates oxidation patterns that sometimes appear as deep brown or even black layers across the coin's surface. Rather than diminishing interest, this natural transformation can actually give a coin a powerful historical character. It tells collectors that the coin has survived decades of time, traveling through unknown places and unknown hands before eventually being recognized as something special. The coin we are discussing also exists in fine condition, which is a very important factor in the collector market. Fine condition means the coin clearly circulated during its lifetime, but still preserves visible design details. Lincoln's hairlines remain recognizable. The lettering across the coin is still strong and readable, and the wheat stalks on the reverse retain their distinctive outlines. Many coins from the 1930s did not survive with this level of preservation. They were heavily worn, scratched, or lost over the decades. That is why collectors become extremely excited when they encounter a coin from this era that still retains its original design elements. When those preserved details combine with the San Francisco Mint mark and the dramatic black toning on the surface, the coin begins to stand out dramatically among ordinary wheat pennies. Collectors see not just a coin, but a survivor of American history. Over the years, demand for rare wheat pennies has grown steadily as more collectors begin exploring the fascinating world of early 20th century coinage. What once seemed like ordinary pocket change has become a field of discovery for historians, investors, and passionate hobbyists. Many collectors spend hours searching through rolls of pennies and old collections, hoping to uncover a hidden treasure that others may have overlooked. And sometimes, that treasure appears when least expected. When a 1935 wheat penny with a black layer and preserved in fine condition appears in the modern collector market, the attention it receives can be remarkable. Serious numismatists examine every detail carefully, recognizing that coins with this combination of characteristics are becoming increasingly difficult to find. And then comes the moment when the true reality of its value becomes known. In today's collector and auction market, the 1935 wheat penny with a black layer in fine condition has reached an estimated value of approximately $216,500. Yes, a single penny that once moved through everyday circulation has risen to a level that collectors now consider a remarkable hidden treasure. The most fascinating part of this story is that coins like this were never originally treated as valuable. They were simply everyday money, used for small purchases without a second thought. Many people unknowingly spent rare coins simply because they never realized what they were holding. Even today, wheat pennies from the early 20th century still appear in old jars of change, inherited coin collections, and forgotten boxes tucked away in attics. That means incredible discoveries are still possible. For collectors hoping to find coins like the 1935 wheat penny, careful examination is essential. Always check the date and look for the mint mark beneath it. Study the condition of Lincoln's portrait and examine the wheat stalk design on the reverse. Sometimes the smallest details reveal the biggest treasures. Collectors also recommend storing valuable coins in protective holders or archival coin albums. Proper storage helps preserve the coin's condition and ensures that its historical significance remains intact for future generations. The world of coin collecting continues to grow because it combines history, discovery, and excitement in a way few hobbies can match. And here on CoinX USA, we explore these incredible hidden treasures every single day, bringing you fresh updates, rare coin stories, and fascinating discoveries from across the collector world. But our journey is not finished yet, because the final coin on this list carries an even greater mystery, and its hidden value might be the most surprising of all. Coin number 8. As we reach the grand finale of our journey through the rarest and most extraordinary wheat pennies in the world, the 8th coin on our list is nothing short of legendary. The 1918 wheat penny without a mint mark, preserved in fine condition, is a coin that perfectly embodies the thrill of hidden treasure. A coin that people have been unknowingly losing, passing through generations, and leaving quietly in old collections, all while holding immense value. To understand why this coin is so remarkable, we must go back over a century to the year 1918. This was a pivotal moment in American history. The First World War was drawing to a close, soldiers were returning home, and the country was navigating a period of transformation and recovery. Everyday Americans relied heavily on coinage for daily life. Pennies, nickels, dimes, all part of the circulation that kept the nation moving forward. And among those coins, the Lincoln wheat penny was already an iconic symbol of the nation's resilience and history. The Lincoln wheat penny had been circulating since 1909, honoring the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. On the front of the coin, Lincoln's dignified profile appears, sculpted by Victor David Brenner. His calm yet determined expression has stood the test of time, representing leadership, perseverance, and the enduring values of the United States. Above Lincoln's head is the word liberty, a simple but powerful reminder of the freedom and ideals the country was built upon. Near his shoulder sits the year 1918, marking this coin as a survivor of over 100 years of American history. This particular coin carries no mint mark, which reveals that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, the very first mint in the United States. Coins from Philadelphia during this period hold special significance because of their historical origin and the sheer number of coins they produced, which makes the surviving rare specimens even more valuable to collectors. Flip the coin over, and the iconic wheat reverse design appears. Two elegant wheat stalks stretch along the edges of the coin, framing the bold words ONE Cent and United States OF America. These wheat stalks are more than decoration. They symbolize agricultural prosperity and the hard-working spirit of a nation in its formative years of growth. Above the words sits the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. This phrase, still present on modern coins, reminds us that even a single penny carries the weight of American unity and history. What sets this 1918 wheat penny apart, making it a coin that collectors obsess over, is its survival in fine condition after more than a century of circulation. Despite the countless hands it passed through, the coin retains recognizable details: Lincoln's profile, his hairlines, the inscriptions, and the outlines of the wheat stalks. And then there is the mystique of the black layer, a natural darkening of the copper surface that forms over decades. To most people, it may appear as simple aging, but collectors know that this toning is a badge of survival, proof that the coin has endured the passage of time. It creates a striking visual character that differentiates this coin from the millions of ordinary pennies minted in 1918. The composition is the classic 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, giving the coin durability and the rich reddish-brown tone that coin enthusiasts love. The coin weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, consistent with standard Lincoln wheat pennies. But it is not just the measurements that matter. It is the story these specifications have carried through more than 100 years of American life. The rarity of a 1918 wheat penny in fine condition cannot be overstated. Many coins from this era were heavily circulated, lost, damaged, or melted down over the decades. Only a small fraction survived intact, and even fewer retained the clarity and character that make this coin a coveted prize among collectors. Collectors demand coins like this because they are more than money. They are history, a tangible connection to the past, and a rare opportunity to own something extraordinary. Auctions for such coins attract serious attention, and the value has been steadily increasing as more people recognize their significance. Now comes the moment that truly shocks and excites anyone who understands the world of rare coins. In today's collector and auction market, the 1918 wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition has reached an estimated value of approximately $288,000. Yes, a single penny that once could have been spent on a loaf of bread or a newspaper has quietly become one of the most coveted treasures in the numismatic world. This is not a small sum. This is a coin that could be considered a life-changing discovery, a true hidden treasure quietly surviving for over a century. For collectors looking to uncover coins like this, the advice is clear. Always examine old coin jars, inherited collections, and vintage albums with care. Study the date, observe the surface carefully for unusual toning, and check for mint marks. Even pennies that appear ordinary can be extraordinary when viewed with knowledge and patience. Proper storage is essential. Coins like the 1918 wheat penny should be preserved in archival holders to protect the design details and maintain their value over time. Once properly cared for, these coins can continue to grow in significance and market value. The world of coin collecting is thrilling because treasures like this are still out there, hiding quietly in plain sight. A small penny can carry decades, even centuries, of history and value. And sometimes, the smallest objects hold the greatest surprises. Here on CoinX USA, we bring you these incredible discoveries every single day, freshly updated, fully detailed, and highlighting coins that collectors across the United States dream of finding. The 1918 Wheat Penny concludes our countdown, but its story reminds us all that history, rarity, and careful observation can turn even the most ordinary-looking coin into a truly priceless treasure. This is the ultimate hidden gem, a piece of American history that people are still accidentally losing, waiting for the right collector to recognize its true power and value. If you want, I can now combine all 8 coins into a fully flowing 10 to 12-minute viral script with suspense, curiosity, emotional arousal, and cliffhangers between each coin, optimized to maximize viewer retention and engagement for your YouTube audience in the EU.